Barefoot Bruisers, what's happening, y'all? DSK Megalodon. Well, we're looking at them all. What the hell's going on, Dave? Well, I figured it's time for a collection update. Kind of moving into some uncharted territories pretty soon. Kind of be focusing more on the making and less on the collecting. So, as you can see now, it's downsized a good bit already. So if my count is right, I believe it's 34 up here on the table. There's a few extras floating around, and of course Hot Rod's got hers too, so we don't really count all these little ones that are, like there's a couple that she's got, like the Medford OTF and that sort of thing, like they're floating around her space and where she carrying them. But the ones that I consider in my collection are pretty much these. There's a couple of these that are shared. That Strider in the back over there is kind of a shared one, and a GF2 Tonto, which we'll get to in a minute, right there is a shared one. There's a couple that we, kind of sort of together wanted to get and that sort of thing. So the other thing, instead of just rambling about all the knives that, I mean, you see the vast majority of them are DSKs, and obviously it's my favorite maker. I'm watching a lot of Ken's videos here lately, Ken Faulkner, and he's doing a lot of the brand battles, but obviously, other than a few of these, they're pretty much all different. So I figured I'd kind of clump them together and kind of do like sort of a comparison and kind of sort of shoot out like he's doing, and kind of choose a favorite out of the groups and then try to pick the favorite out of the whole group. If you look at your knives like me, like you can't think of it's the day that you pick out a favorite, right? You don't have a favorite knife. You have a collection and you choose daily. At least that's me, right? Okay. We'll start on the easy side. Must get down here on my knees. Hang on one second. I'm old. Hopefully this comes out in video because I can't see the screen at all. So SMF. This one I've gone over before, but it's a Tonto. It's an older one with the larger stop pin. And obviously a newer Chevron scale on it. And it's been KG coated as well. Kind of oldie but a goodie. Several people have offered to try to buy this one. It's just one of those ones I've had for so long. It reminds me of the older days that I just don't see myself parting with. I don't know, maybe one day, but not anytime soon. Speaking of which, the Old Faithful. I don't think I'll ever part with this one. It's the DLC Sawtooth. It's just one that I've had so many miles on and so much wear and tear, and it was my only knife for so long. Or not my only knife, but definitely my main user, I guess I should say, for so long. It's just, it has to stay in the collection, right? So, in case I didn't already mention, production knives. And then this is the full tie version right here. Full tie stonewash version, not, I think this is S30. Is this S30? I gotta get close so I can see it. Yeah, S30. So I've had another one of these in 20 CV. I prefer the S30 and the Sawtooths. This one looks like it has had a little bit of work on it, but not a ton. Where that obviously the other one, it's been used and abused and sharpened a million and a half times. Surprisingly enough, the AD10, I thought I was done with AD10s, and then I seen this DLC version at the Blade Show, and I was like, N3V again, and I was like, you know what, I just got to buy it. And it's literally the first thing I bought at Blade Show, and I don't regret it at all. Money well spent, especially for the price, man. Military 2, this one's in 15V. I've kind of mentioned it in other videos. I cannot remember what the titanium scales are from. I'm sorry. This one came from Brother Nunface, and I'm sure Brother Nunface did a video on it somewhere along the line, or at least Instagram or something, about whose scales those are. I cannot remember for the life of me whose scales those are, but the 15V is something that's probably going to go away. I know they're still doing, Spyderco's still dropping knives in 15V, but that's probably going to go away, somewhat soon. I guess Crucible not be able to make anymore. So out of these production knives, which one do I use the most? Honestly, it's the military, because I use it to open envelopes and that sort of thing. Nothing against any of these, but if I'm going to go grab one, it's hard call because this ain't a frame lock, but honestly, I probably would pick this one up more than the rest of them. It's still got that newness factor to me. I guess this one does too, but it's still got the newness factor to me. Where the old standbys, if I needed to go beat the hell out of something or do some work, it's going to be that Sawtooth. This one's pretty much safe queen. I carry it. I might have to use it, but I'm gonna carry it when it's a light duty situation. This one and this one are definitely I would definitely pick those up and use them absolutely no problem. The SMF never gets carried, hardly ever. It's just more like in the collection kind of thing. So out of the production battle for me, I'm gonna say AD10's my winner. The AD10 3V. That's my production knife winner, at least for right now in this collection video. You ask me tomorrow, the shit's gonna change, but that's for today. All right, let me jump over here. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because it's kind of hard to do all this, you know, collectively and keep my thoughts straight and everything like that. So this row right here, we're gonna call the Import Customs. We'll start here at the Triple Blade Works deck collector. I got to turn it where y'all can see it. Sorry. Hopefully it is coming in. Hopefully y'all can see it. The ones I did I made the scale for, and then did the little anno work or whatever else, and kind of retuned it where it actually kind of sort of works now. Functions like it should. I actually like this knife a lot. Canadian maker, if y'all didn't know. Triple Blade Works is Canadian, and I keep turning it sideways, but y'all can't see it, so hopefully this video will come out good. Don't know if it will or won't. Hard to find knife, super hard to find, so kind of glad to have it in the collection because of the rarity of it, but that only lasts so long after a while, and if it's just rare and it's just sitting, it kind of sucks, right? It's one of those things where you don't want it sitting, you want to use it. So so far I haven't really used this one a ton. I did kind of sort of refinish it, hoping I'd move it. Nobody really got interested in it, probably because of the price, but you know, like almost everything in the collection, they come, they go. There's some that are never going to go, but for the most part, it's, you know, it flows. The collection just flows, and that's how it goes. As of right now, obviously I'm not in a rush to sell a thing or anything like that, but if something is, you see something, you're like, I gotta have it, you know, always hit me up, because buy sell trade kind of always happens around here. So I became friends with Dario Degman Knives. Met him at Blade Show and kind of talked with him. And this is the first custom one. I had one before this, the Holy Degman, that now Tomas has, but I did a little bit of a fuller mod on this one, and it does have different studs on it, but other than that, it's pretty much Dario's work. Degman was definitely one of the first ones. This is the first one I did order from him, and like I said, I did modify it and asked this done wash it, put the fuller in it, and the stop pin in it. Super slick blades. It's hard to describe how slick these are, but he's the multi-row with the Delron cages. Or plastic cages, I'm not sure. I think that's white Delrin. But the pivot's much larger size than a standard pivot, and for whatever reason, the combination just works flawlessly on his knives. It's a Toucan 2XL. Same thing on this one. This was flipper only. I did that little fuller mod on it, like I seem to do almost all my stuff. I just like that fuller to flick off of, and I don't mind the dissimilar blades from side to side, or, you know, looks or whatever. I think this kind of flows with the lock bar, and that looks nice and smooth. So it all works for me. Thumb stars work perfect on this one too. They're just not the most comfortable thumb stars. They're not horrible, but you know, this is pretty much designed as a flipper knife, and it works great as a flipper knife. But this is a Toucan 2XL from Dario at Derek Steel. So two of his, Mr. G, or Gorky Knives. Dude, I can never remember the name of this thing. It's like the Pelgris or something, I don't know. It starts with a P. This thing is like overly slick to me. Like, once again, we're talking about like different styles and these Croatian makers. Like, they all have a different feel. This one's probably the overall slickest out of all the Croatian makers, as far as like overall, like the grinds, the fit and finish, everything is just super slick about this Mr. G knife. And I did take the studs were the opposite way around. This step stud was on this side, and that solid stud was on that side. I kind of flopped them over. It had some fancy anodizing, which y'all know me, not me, so I blasted all that shiny stuff off, all the colorful stuff off it, and just kind of make it all subdued and way more my style. You can flick from the hole, but not my favorite. I would think I would have carried this knife a whole lot more, but something about the way it tapers to thin, you know, it doesn't not suit me. It's not my favorite, and I don't know why. Like, I love when I pick it up and carry it, I love it. It's just not one I like gravitate towards, and that's the only thing I can think of, is like all the rest of these have nice beefy handles. You know, not as beefy, but this is just a thinner towards this end. I wish this would just stayed a little bit thicker through here, and I probably would have liked it more, but you know, that's how it goes. Dalibor, this is the one that kind of sort of started it off for me, was the unnamed model. When I got it, it was it needed some serious work, and the pivot was stuck in there. So if you see that hole, let me see if I can turn it where I can get to that hole. Anyway, I had to drill a hole in it and put a pin in it to keep that pivot on this side from spinning loose. Never have gone back and pinned it, which I said I was going to, but you can see that some of that was the fancy stuff, some of this was the fancy stuff, and I just got rid of the colors on it and kind of went back to a subdued level, which is exactly how I like this knife to look. The gronds in this one is just fabulous. Like unique design, awesome gronds. No fault on the maker at all. I love it. And that you just all the dial bores are just unique, and you got to put them in hand to feel them. And these, if you didn't know, are all integrals, and they all run on Teflon washers. So it's kind of a bear to get them put back together without damaging those washers. This is the Oberon. As you can see, I use all these. Same kind of thing here. It has some bougie stuff on it. We got rid of the bougie stuff, and it's more subdued now. I can't remember. Did this one come to me with all those crazy colors? I can't remember if it did or it was subdued already. I think it had some colors on it, but we got rid of it. And so now we just got the, pretty much when it's cleaned up. Sorry, you can tell I prepared a lot for this video, can't you? We get it, what's I gonna say? Sorry to hear a cat in there, so I think the cat's trying to either get in or get out. I can't tell. But I like the Oberon a lot. It kind of fits in the pocket better than a lot of these do. Slimmer profile. This ends up being in the left pocket a lot. Same with this guy here. This is Draco. Came to me this way. I don't think I did anything to this one. Maybe I did, but I don't think I did anything to this one. It's a little bit on the later lockup on this one. It's not horrible, but it's about the only fault I can give this one. But it's a cool, smaller knife. So you guys that like S&G size, this is what I would say. It's broader, but it's like S&G size to me. Like, that's how I feel about it. But, you know, with the forward finger tool, you get enough room to get in there. Feel good. Now, if you're all the way back here, yeah, kind of don't feel that great. But, you know, up here like you'd normally do. Most of Striders. I love it. It's a good knife. So, out of the battle, let's look at this, the import customs, if you will. I'm making up categories as I go, but I got to kind of narrow things down. So, out of the $3 bores, the one I'm almost always go to is the Oberon. Like, I like this one, not quite big enough. I like this one, just a little goofy in hand. The Oberon's just like, I don't know, whatever reason. You can tell by the amount of use that's on it too. That's like, since I've got this one, I've probably used this one more than the other ones. So that would be my favorite for the dial bores. Let's go with the, I'm gonna say the Toucan 2XL is probably my favorite out of the two Dioracs. I like the Mr. G. The Trouble Blade Works Mofo is probably more like a throwback kind of thing. So really, on the imports for me, it comes down to the Toucan 2XL, the Mr. G, and the Oberon. And I'm gonna say, if I'm gonna grab any of those three, it's probably gonna be this one, the Toucan 2XL. So for the imports, for December 25, for whatever today's date is, the 2nd. Y'all see it on the 3rd. This one's probably my favorite of the import models I got. This is actually the recent one I've got for Blade Show from Dario. I picked this up at Blade Show 25. So it's still, you know, a couple months old, and that's it. And literally, he just got done building it and brought it. I didn't know he was even going to get it done. And that's 3V, of course. So that also obviously helps too. I think all three of those are 3V. Not sure what Mr. G's is. I want to say RWL 34. That's 35. And I think this is RWL 34 too, but that's all those imports. Now, jump over here to the, well, I'm going to call it one-offs, because most of these, well, we'll exclude this one because I did a lot of mods. Well, kind of got to exclude that one because I did some mods too, but fairly close to stock. I think I modded a lot of these, actually. I didn't think about it. Let's just start. Vandermeulen Double Homicide. This one's in W2. That's the whole reason I bought it. Got this one from Mr. Dirk Warner. I did put the fuller in it, and I did redo the Hamon, kind of etch it and that sort of thing. Jeff was very helpful in what to use and how to do it and that sort of thing. But this is one that I like to have in the collection. I did very rarely carry it. It's not the best action on this knife. You know, it's a little bit on the well, you know, I won't say it's less practical, because it's very much a practical knife if you can use it as practical. It's just one that I'm less skilled with, put it that way. And I love it for the cool factor. I'm just not always in the mood to carry something like this. So this one does get carried, but not like as extremely amount as I thought I would when I got it. I think, honestly, it's just a little bit on the thin side with the blade. Not that it's thin, not that it's a thin blade at all, but like for the length of it, I got proportion thing, and I don't know what it is about it. I like if it's going to be this long, it should be a little bit thicker. That's just my thoughts on it, and I don't know why. I think that's probably the only reason this doesn't get carried as much, and the action could be just a little bit better. Skike Road Shark. This one is the kind of sort of stock profile-ish on this side. And then I did put my fuller on the back side and that sort of thing. And I have modified with a dual detent now. Took some horns out of the pocket clip and the back spacer and that sort of thing. But yeah, this one's oldie but a goodie. It's kind of, it kind of reminds me like the Treble Blade Works. Like, I love the knife. It's just like, since time has gone on, I guess I like more knives better than this one. I wish Pete was still making knives. Me and him were kind of buddies back in the day, and I can't even tell you how long I've had this one or where it came from or anything like that. It was just the one I ended up with. I think I got this one for Carco because I think this is originally on washers and I put it on bearings. From the washers, it just wasn't, it didn't handle well. And I got tired of the messing with the action and the blade, being off center and everything like that. So I ended up kind of boring it. I think probably an offset counterbore to get that all centered up and action right on it, but it's money now. It's good now. Sorry about Talia in the background. That's the cat that you hear in raise hell. Speaking of actions here, that's the Miller Brothers T1. This one is on washers. So overall, the whole collection, there's not very many on washers anymore. Like I've pretty much moved to bearing knives, which is kind of weird because I've never really like had that set in mind to kind of move towards bearing over washers, because I used to be a washer only kind of guy. I never liked bearings. Also don't do the same kind of work I used to do. So I guess that probably has a lot to do with it too. T1, very good artistic, like you can tell the maker always puts a different touch on these things. It's just a unique knife. It's kind of ridiculous. It's not kind of ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. I do wish the action was a little bit better than what it was. I know when, before I took it apart, it definitely felt better, but then I took it back apart and the pivot was loose. That's why it was handling good. So I tightened it back up so it feels like a washer knife again. And yeah, it's smooth. It's all good there, but before it was a little more fidgety, and now it's not as fidgety, but it's still a damn good knife. Carried this one for a whole month. I want to say that was last year for August. And them guys are doing it right now. The one knife for 1 month. That's the one I get. And I was so sick of that knife when I got done with that month that honestly, it almost ruined it. I almost sold that knife because I was just like, I was done with the whole experience of that one. But the creativity on these from everyone is like, you find the Miller Brothers you like, you find the T1 you like, and just suck it up and buy it once. I won't even say that about the MOW, but they are super unique from one to one. He does have very similar styles and does very similar techniques, but definitely personalized and customized on every single one of them, to a point where there isn't, obviously there's one model, but there's not like the same. You're never going to see this. You're never going to see one just like this unless someone else requests it. I mean, knowing Todd, he'd be like, let's do something different with it. So if I didn't already say, Todd Heater, MOW, this is the MOW2. And I pretty much just told him I wanted one and let him hook it up. Like, I didn't really give him no restrictions at all, and this is pretty much what he came up with. And yeah, he knows what he's doing. Badass knife, badass action on this one. This is definitely one that's super fidgety for me. Like, it's definitely one I could play with, and enjoy. I don't really honestly carry this one as much as I thought I was going to, mainly because I kind of wanted to keep it nice. But I've had it for a little while now, and I think at this point I'm ready to start beating it up, start putting some wear and tear on it. I know Todd would love to see that too. So I think I am going to start carrying this one more. Obviously 3V on this one. Artistic, freedom on this one. Like, obviously it's the same model. He's working within the same parameters, but to see something different every one, it's like the Miller Brothers. I'm very inspired because I get stuck in a rut of doing the same thing on most of mine. Like, we'll go right here. Crusader Forge Fierce for Prey. Obviously my reblade on it, and my tie scale on it too. And this is pretty much, if you see anything from me, these two finishes are my two favorite that I do. So obviously this one has it on it. I'm not going to even vote on this one because this is the only thing Crusader Forge left in it. Everything else in the hardware. But I mean, for the most part, I've made 2/3 of the knife. So I can't really, I can't really call this a Crusader anymore. It's, it probably got as much me, if not more than me. I mean, obviously I didn't design it and do it, but like from this point of view, Yeah, and I made the back spacer too. So I would say at this point, it's probably more me than it was Crusader. Obviously, the design's not, but like their execution of this one and get it back running good and stuff. So I'm not going to vote on that one. I'm super proud of that one. I'm super surprised nobody else wanted to buy that one, but I'm super glad I got it in the collection. So there it is. Sergei Rogovets XR3. This one was the American flag Cerakoted. We got rid of that Cerakoting and once again finished it the way I like to finish stuff. This one is the older one. It has the, if you look at the older ones, they always have the Torx bit, safety Torx on the backside, and they have stronger detents. And for me, they're just night and day above the newer stuff. I don't know what he's doing different new now, but I haven't not handled a new knife that handled as good as the old one. Damn steel blade. I don't remember what the core is on this one, if it has a core or whatever. I don't know if it's just regular Damascus. I can't remember all that stuff. But this is a little bit older one. I had several Sergei Rogovets, just like the Vandermeer ones. I've had several Vandermeer ones. Ultimately, it just narrowed it down to the one. This one just works for me. And that proportion-wise, like length, thickness, all that, everything works for me on this one. For whatever reason, it's kind of a knife that just agrees with me, balanced well and everything like that. I just like this knife. Love having it in the collection. And then kind of the, like, finishing touches is the Direware Solo. So full tie Solo, which is definitely more my style. I kind of sort of debated on doing a different finish on the tie because it is kind of slick in the hand. But you can look at the collection here and you see most of the stuff I got is, you know, on the anode or darker or blasted side. And I don't have a whole lot of just slick. So I'm trying to hold out on it, but I think this one stays in the collection. It'll probably end up getting blasted for too long. I had debated on moving this one along. This is another knife that, sorry I failed it because my thumb was on the lock bar and I was trying to do it left-handed so y'all can see it. But this is kind of one that I sort of debated on selling for a little bit, but like, I don't know, man. Every time I look at this thing, I'm just enamored by the quality. This is just like epic. Like, this is the Solo that I wanted. The only thing I could say that I wish would done different was I wish the titanium was much thicker. It could be double the thickness for me. And I would probably like it better, maybe even triple. And I would probably like it way better. Other than that, that's about the only thing I could fault this one on. Like, other than that, this one's pretty much money to me. Color, I guess, maybe. But, you know, singles, like, where would I go? Who could I choose and how could I narrow it down? Well, if I'm narrowing it down for, like, what I would use, like the most used of this one, I can't vote on this one because it's still new, and honestly, I've done too much to it, but that one does get used a ton. So going through these, as I mentioned, I hadn't been carrying the heater because I was trying to keep it nice, but honestly, I'm kind of at the point now where I've had it long enough. I'm gonna put it in rotation. It's overall, like, I can do anything I want with the heater. The Miller Brothers, I don't get the fidgety action thing. Yes, and I can perform, I can do what it wants, but it doesn't do everything I want it to do. It's a little, I don't know. It's a little brickish, a little cumbersome for me doing all the tasks I like to do. Skyke's kind of sort of the same way. Vandermeer one's kind of sort of the same way. I'll even say the Solo, like, it doesn't, like, for the cut needs, it does everything it should do, but like, it comes down to pretty much the MOW and Sergei Rogovets XR3. Depending on what I'm doing with the knife, obviously this one's fancier, like blade stock and that sort of thing, and this is the preferred steel. So I'm gonna give the nod to the MOW. So for my singles, I'll even throw the Crusader back in here. For the singles, for my favorite as of right now, I'm gonna go with the MOW. Just easy enough to narrow it down. Like, that's probably my favorite. Once again, I don't carry most of these on the regular, but that's about to change with that one. And let's move over to DSK. So obviously you see more. There's like 2.5 rows of just DFK. So pretty much just the collection is DSKs and then what's left, right? That's pretty much how it goes. We'll start over there. Recluse. He's starting to make new Recluses. This is one of the original ones. And I'm pretty sure this is when Scorpion 6, what's that guy's name? Shane was had first left Medford, and he was over there working with Dan for a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's when this one kind of came about. This one has a little bit of different styling, but if you look at the GF1, which I'll break out real quick, sorry, you can see a lot of similarities in design, right? like very similar knives, just slightly modified. So I think this is, I look at the Recluse as more like a GF1 mod, like just it's a mod similar. Like when you get to the TF2 or GF2s, you'll see he just kind of does little mods and makes them a little more his own. But as a whole, like I can kind of sort of see that as more of a GF1 mod from the Recluse. So these two we can kind of put in the same family, I guess. But Recluse is a little bit harder one to find, especially the larger size. I found 2 or 3 mediums that's been through here. This GF1, honestly, like when I first started talking to Dan, when he first came out, he worked, I don't think he worked for Medford. I think he just went to Medford for like a little bit of education on the stuff and then started doing his own thing. But I almost bought one of these when he first started making knives. I want to say at the time, this is before he even was just doing CPM 154 or 154. I don't think he was doing anything like Damascus or anything like that. He was just starting. I want to say he was just offering S30V at the time, or S30 or whatever, and a GF1. It was just a little bit outside my price range at the time, so I wasn't able to pull the trigger on it, but still kind of brings me back to the day. This combination in particular of the Damascus and the plain titanium with just the rolled edges, my favorite, probably my favorite, one of my favorites, definitely one of my favorite styles, but definitely one of my favorites as far as the whole collection goes. Every time I get this one out, I just get warm and fuzzy. A while back, I had traded this one to Evan, and he was at least cool enough to know that it needed to return home when he wasn't using it as much as he thought he was going to use it. So big shout out to Evan again. I'm glad that one's back in the collection. Not going to trade that one again. That one's staying. Hell, while we're talking about GF2s, the first one we ever had, GF2 Tanto. This does have the bougie clip. It came off a different one, but it kind of goes with that whole bougie stuff up there. This is definitely more of a hot rod knife, my wife's knife, than it is mine, probably because of it's all fancy. She knows if I carry it, start using it, I'm gonna beat it up, and you can see pretty much a mark right there, which, yeah, probably was me. Not gonna lie at all. Cool knife with flipper on it too. This one's flipperless, but it's a drop point GF2 with that crazy looking finish. I don't know if that's from Dan or from somebody else, but it's cool enough finish that I definitely don't want to redo that. I think it looks badass. I don't even know what that process would be. It's not Cerakote. It feels like steel. I don't know. At least I don't think it's Cerakote. If it's Cerakote, it's awful convincing. It's just a unique finish. Kind of dig this one. I got this one kind of on a, I won't say a whim, but like, it was one of those that didn't know anything about the situation. Oh yeah, the dragon spine stuff. So this could be, very well could be a modified knife, but most of mine are anyhow, so I really don't care. Speaking of which, modified. So this is a GF2 Bowie, if you didn't already know, and this is also chisel ground. I put the Chameleon on this one because it comes with a stud that I just don't like DSK studs at all, and I put the full on the backside, super deep on that chisel ground. It has a very unique look. My buddy Jason's got one of these Bowies. I had it on the channel not long ago. I did acid stone wash and Chameleon eye and fuller mod on his too. His was a V ground. It wasn't chisel ground. It had a whole different feel to it. Like, so it's so cool to have such unique. Even between the GF2s, like this one's a little bit thicker. Let's see if we can see if this even helps. So you can see that's the thinnest. It's a little bit thicker, and that's the thickest. And pretty much I like them thick to thin. That's my favorites as far as the GF2 goes. Jump back over here for a second. Sleeper. It's supposed to be a flipper only, and I did enjoy it as a flipper only, but I kind of got tired of it. And at one point, I think I traded it. Don't know if I traded back for this or whatever, however I got it back. But when I got it back, I went ahead and put that filler on there, and it just changed it for me. This is definitely one of those. I very rarely carry this right side, but left side with that fidgety, that extra factor of fidget. This one gets in the left pocket a lot. It's a little bit on the narrower side, same like all the GFs and the Recluse, pretty much this half of the DSKs. They're pretty much left-hand knives for me. This is what ends up in my left pocket a lot of the times. Sometimes on Instagram, I don't even take out the left hand. I just kind of, show my main knife. Sometimes I show them all, but like it's back and forth, like. But these are the left-hand knives for me for the DSKs. Even on this side of the collection, like there's a few of these that are left pocket, left pocket, left pocket. But most of the rest of these are right pockets. So it kind of competes with all the bigger stuff, even though they might not be as big, Some days you ain't into the as huge. Like, since we're going to talk about huge, Megalodon. So you can see that's a much bigger knife. It's borderline ridiculous. This one came from Brother Plethora way back years now. I've had this one. I've had a couple other Megalodons come through, but this is the one that always stays. This is one of those ones that, like, even compared to the other Megalodons I had, the flipping action on this one is just, it's spot on. Love the Megalodon. Don't carry it as much, and it's mainly because that it doesn't have anywhere to flick it on the back. It's flipper only. Not that I dislike flipper only, but I'm just kind of like more into the other options of flippers, I guess you'd say. Besides just flipper, like the, you know, multiple deployments, I guess. Back over here, multiple deployments again. So I did put that groove on this Atreyu. I'm sorry if I didn't already say it. Atreyu, this is the thicker one, and this is the older one I had, and it does have, you can flick this one off the hole. It's a little bit harder, but it does flick off the hole compared to, but you can see much thicker this guy is than this guy. So they both have different feels to them, and it's hard to like describe. They're both beefy enough, but this just has the extra beef. So if I'm going to carry one Atreyu, almost always it's that one. That one does have a double detent mod that I did. So out of the two, that's probably the one that gets the nod over here. All right, let's do the VXCs now. So 3 VXCs. This is the one that kind of started it off for me. This one came as a G10 scale. Didn't work for me. Y'all know me. So full tie it is. And this one does have the laser tattoo logo, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure I reground this one and re-acid stonewash this one too. But this is kind of like, because if you see the fuller size on this one versus the other two, this one is the better of the flickers to me. But on the thumb stud, it's a little harder to get it. It's just how this one has always been to me. I think this pivot's a little loose on this one, so I'm gonna put this one down. Not toot my own horn, but a little bit different texture on the, but compared to the other DSKs, I got a little more texture on this one with the grain stuff, and I just kind of like that finish. This is the one I'm gonna call the accident. So it kind of looks like, I'm pretty sure what happened was he was trying to do like a mill pattern in it, and he broke some tooling or something and ended up just doing this grind pattern instead. This one is superior for that thumb, but you can see on the back side it doesn't have anything but the blade to flick off of, so it does work no problem. You can see where I'm pretty much hooking it up on the finger. But if I'm carrying this one, it's mostly the thumb. I love this VXA. It's not one of Dan's more popular models, but I put it in hand and I love all of them. This one is probably the good compromise between the two. You can do the thumb, no problem. You can also flick off of it, no problem. It's just not quite as good a finger flicker, not quite as good a thumb flicker. So this is kind of like the compromise in the middle. And this is also one of the ones that has like a little bit different milling on it compared to like some of the other ones. Like some of these are similar, but you know, just a little bit different. So a little bit something different for all three of those, even though they're all the three same model. Kind of hard to choose your favorite in those. I guess I might have to go with the OG, just pretty much because it was the first one I got. My love of VXCs came from this one. But if I pick it up and carry them, yes, between this one and this one most of the time, I will carry this one. But compared to the other two, these two are my favorites out of this one. Compared to that one anyhow. We'll jump over to the kickstands, and that should finish up the collection. This one was the original one I got. It's actually when I started collecting again, or got back into collecting, this is the first DSK that I got. I paid way too much for it at the time, but the thing is, I've not found another one like it. And it's probably my favorite overall, like, kickstand that I've ever handled. Like, it's just like the GF1 was, Damascus blade, titanium, just rolled edges, just simple, elegant. This one did come with a little Bougier clip, but you know, we took care of that and put a regular clip back on it. I hadn't made my own clip for a while that I ran on it, but this is just the kickstand. When I think about kickstands, like, that one just always suits me to a T perfectly. This is the copper Damascus one. Obviously I've redone this. This one also came to with the G10 scale, so had to make the tie scale for it too. And I did a contour on it, which you're not going to be able to see probably on video at all, but I've showed this one in the past. Just kind of going over it quickly. I thought about, because the grind's kind of small on this one, I thought about bringing that grind up. It's a little bit of a slow blade, because it's a thicker blade. But I don't know, when I pick up my hands and I start playing with it, I like it as is. I just need to use this no more. This is just one that I haven't really got around to using. And it came from Dan without the flipper tab on it. So, cool one. I bought this one. This is a chisel ground as well, like that Bowie was. And I opened up this whole slot in here so I could finger flick it. It did lighten the blade up to make it a little bit faster. It is a thicker one. This one does have good flipper action on it too. It may be that it's not all 100% broke in yet. I don't know. But this is one I kind of bought to mod. And, well, I did mod it. I bought it to actually kind of, I was sort of thinking I'd do a reblade on it. And I might eventually get around to it. But I don't know, like after I got done with it, I was like, I kind of like it as it is. And, you know, it may stay in the collection for a while like that. I don't know. And then eventually I might do a reblade on it. So, recap the DSKs. We'll call left pocket DSKs right here, right? So if I'm going to choose one of these left pocket DSKs, GF1 is going to be the winner. So overall, GF1's the winners for the left pocket DSK. Pretty easy decision for me. I like them all. That's just my favorite. It just is what it is. Second, probably that sleeper right there. But that GF1, that just the finish on it and everything like that, I can't fault it. That's just D1. This is where it gets a little harder for me, because if I'm being practical, like out of these bigger DSKs, which one am I carry the most? Honestly, it's the VXC. And honestly, out of all the VXCs, it probably is this one I carry more than any of the rest of them. But those two in particular. So if I have it narrowed it down to one, I'm going to choose this one. This is my, I guess right now for big DSKs, this is probably the one that I will carry the kickstands, I will carry the Atreyu, I will carry the Megalodon. But I like this VXC so much that this one usually gets the nod. And, you know, it's a big-ass knife. It fits in from a front right pocket. Nothing else goes in there. Occasionally I drop my keys or something in there. Flashlight maybe. But, you know, that's kind of more wintertime stuff for that. So, yeah, VXC. So, I'm going to try to go over a quick recap and narrow it down to the best one in the collection. So, I went with the 8010 for production. I went with the GF1. Let's just do this. Set them on top. Hopefully they don't fall all over the place. The GF1 for my left pockets. So these two are kind of competing here. I did choose this one for my big left pocket and my right pocket, right? Did choose the Toucan 2XLs and MOW. This is kind of fun actually, narrowing it down. Ken, that's a great idea, bro, but I mean, I can't do it quite your style. I would get rid of the rest of these knives, but I'm on my knees and my knees are starting to hurt anyhow. But all right, so kind of going through the collection, I kind of narrow it down the collection. Not a frame lock, so I can pretty much do this right here already. I love this knife. This one carries more around for the shop in here at the house than I do out and about. I will carry it around, you know, walks, stuff like that. But if I'm going out and about, that's gonna be a left pocket carry. So I'm gonna say this one. I'm cheating a little bit here, Ken. Sorry, bro. Left pocket. So left side of the screen, that's the left pocket winner. Right side, I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. Like, how many DSKs do I got in the collection? No offense to anybody else, any of the makers that are on the tail, but yeah. I kind of knew it was gonna end up with two DSKs, but here we go. Left pocket, right pocket. So left pocket GF1 with a Damascus. Right pocket VXC. This just happens to be the one that I like right now today. So there you go. Whole collection video, narrowing it down and everything with a shootout, collection shootout, I guess if you will. Well, that's my thoughts as today. We're just gonna call it for there. That's the collection. I'm hurting and I need to get off the damn knees. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Oh yeah, here's the old man trying to get up here. So we'll go call it for this week. I didn't get a whole lot done to the shop, so we'll update you with shop stuff next week. All right, y'all be cool. Later, guys and gals.